Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about this whole Nvidia versus AMD thing, and kind of explain the way. Well, not necessarily explain the way I'm thinking, but my gosh, man, I couldn't even make it 5 days before putting an AMD GPU back in my PC, man. Like that Nvidia stuff, man. Like I get that Nvidia is like the number one brand. They've got a lot of mind share. They got a lot, obviously like 80% market share. But I kind of feel like gamers these days, especially in the PC space, man. Like I get like the whole top end thing. I get the 4090 Bros. I get the I get like that need to be an enthusiast when it comes to PC gaming and stuff. But gosh dang, man, you guys leave so much freaking stuff on the free. Like you leave a lot on the table when you just blindly go for Nvidia. Especially with all the nonsense that's out there about AMD, man. Like I love AMD. I put out, so like for that 4 days that I had the 4.5 days, that I had the 4070 in the PC again. I was noticing, man, like I'd record videos and they would come out like all twitchy and stuff like that, and I was like, gosh dang, man. The last one that I put out, I actually was like, dang, dude, this looks kind of bad, when I was doing like a playback. And so I went into the editing software and I was going to just have gameplay footage running across that. But I like to do like the talking head videos where I don't have gameplay in front of them. I like for you guys to be able to see me and like see who's actually talking to you, because this is kind of important when it comes to brand loyalty or just buying products for yourself. And I just think that there's like so much Nvidia shilling that goes on out there that people never really get to see the other side. I mean, I get that like the other YouTubers like Daniel Owens and all of them guys, are always like, yeah, they talk good about AMD, and that's because AMD is good. But then they always, for some reason, they're like, oh, but you don't want to leave ray tracing on the table and stuff. And man, this whole time that I had the 4070 back in the PC, I went through and I was like testing like the ray tracing and looking at that and just looking at performance, without using DLSS or any of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, gosh dang, man, this card absolutely sucks. Because when I had it in there before, when I was doing like the AMD versus the 4070, I was running, like DLSS, and I was running it with all the features, and I was like, okay, yeah, this seems like it's pretty decent. But when you peel back that layer for a 1440p card, because that's what the 4070 is marketed as. So that's what I would expect as a paying customer. I mean, I buy these graphics cards and I use them, and I try to help you see that, like, look, man, you are getting duped with these Nvidia products. The whole 30 series was absolute garbage when new games started coming out. And don't try to sit here and tell me like, oh man, the 3080 is a freaking good card. No, it isn't. It wasn't. It's barely, like, the 4070 is pretty much a weaker version of a 3080. Like the 3080 was still a better buy than this card. To be completely honest with you, this 4070 is yeah. So I was trying some games because I hadn't had a chance to like throw Hogwarts Legacy on there and play around with that with the 4070, and I finally did. I finally got around to it the other day. And I was like, are you kidding me, man? This game's giving me like 40 frames a second with ray tracing enabled. I mean, Nvidia, when you listen to any other YouTuber out there or any other fanboy for Nvidia, they're always like, yeah, man, you got to have the ray tracing, the ray tracing. It's like they beat you over the head with this nonsense about ray tracing. And here's my honest opinion about the 7800 XT and the 4070 when it comes to ray tracing. Neither card can do ray tracing good enough to justify buying a 4070 over a 7800 XT. Either way, you're better off. You are better off with the 7800 XT just due to the fact that it is far more superior across 1080p, 1440p, and 4K it has more VRAM, and it really does have significantly stronger rasterization than the 4070. It really does. When you strip away DLSS, you don't have a 1440p card with the 4070. Like it gets close to, and when I say 1440p, I'm talking 60 frames a second. And with the price of it, so here's the thing, man. Like this is not even a joke. Like this isn't even a game. Most of the games out there that have ray tracing that are optimized for Nvidia and have the Nvidia branding, yes, those games run fine, but you have to use DLSS, or you have to use FrameGen for it to be like a really mind-blowing. Well, I'm not even going to call it mind-blowing. I'm just going to say like 80 whatever frames a second. You know, on Cyberpunk, actually it goes from like 60 to 80 or whatever on the 4070 at 1440p with utilizing, you know, DLSS, and that's fine. Like, don't get me wrong, that's not a problem. That's absolutely better than what you're going to get on a 7800 XT using the ray tracing. But here's the thing, man. If you're using regular ray tracing, you can push that 7800 XT a little bit higher, and then you can utilize AMD's fluid motion frames to get even higher than what the 4070 is going to give you with that. So yeah, you can use that. When it comes to path tracing, that's a completely different story, man. I mean, the 4070 is not even good at that. It's basically, I don't know. It's a compromised experience when it comes to ray tracing either way. So you're leaving a lot more, like, honestly, between these two cards, the only thing that you should really be worrying about, honestly, is rasterization. Like that's all you should worry about, is how many pixels this thing can pump and how stable it can be. And my money's on the 7800 XT every single step of the way. That card is just awesome. It is awesome. It's got better software. It's a better user experience when it comes to the software, and it just works. Like, I could not for the life of me get that 4070 to go to 120 hertz refresh rate on my 4K OLED. Like, it locks it at 60, and if I try to do anything, it just bumps it just makes the screen go black. And I'm like, what the freak, dude? This sucks, man. And I tried everything. Like, trust me, I got into the control panel. There's two settings. You know, there's one that says for a TV, and then there's one for PC. I tried both of those. I tried putting it in 4K 120 on both of those. I got into the the Windows software, display software, tried to get that to set to 120. It just wasn't having it. Like, it would not do it, no matter what. I'm using the exact same 4K or HDMI 2.1 cable that came with my Xbox Series X for that. It runs perfectly on my AMD cards. It just will not seem to work with the 4070, and that to me is like a major, like, kick in the pants, because I play a lot of sim racing games. And yes, the 4070 is capable of pushing those, you know, to 120 frames a second. But if it's locked at 60 frames a second, I get nasty screen tearing when I'm trying to play those, you know, because the card's obviously pushing it, but unless I lock it to 60 frames a second, I'm not getting my 120 FPS. Like, I'm getting a compromised experience no matter what. And that's the thing, man. This is the thing with Nvidia. It doesn't matter what card you buy, unless if you're not buying a high-end card, you are compromising on major things that you don't realize until you've already got the card, until it's already too late. And none of these other tech tubers seem to want to tell you this stuff. They just want to sit there, run their little benchmarks, get you all excited about like, oh my gosh, dude, I get this many frames and stuff like that. And it's more like, my friends, it is more than just a benchmark and frames and stuff. It is. The overall experience, in my opinion, as an actual consumer and an actual gamer, is consistency across the board. That's more important to me in a product than just having good frames on certain things and then like having a compromised experience in others. My thing is more well-rounded architect, or more well-rounded experience. Sorry about that light. It just decided to turn itself off. I've got it hooked to the PlayStation. It must have finished downloading my Resident Evil 4. But when it comes to like the overall experience and why that's so important is because that's going to cut into your longevity. And that's going to cut into it pretty hard. And when you're buying a $600 GPU and you can't even play the newest games at 1440p and use the features that everybody bangs on about on this card, yes, I hear the feedback from the Nvidia bros that are telling me, man, you should have got a 70 Ti or you should have went for a 4080. I get it, dude. Like, I get it. The whole reason I bought a 4070 was the price. The price compared to the price of the 7800 XT. That's what we're comparing, is how much bang for your buck do you get for that price range. And I paid, I think my 7800 was like $509 and this one was $600, $599 for the 4070. Like almost $100 more, and it's got 4 gigs of VRAM less. And it's not strong at rasterization, and like it's just not. Like it barely gets the freaking job done on some of these other games that I've been starting to test. And like, I don't know how to say this to make you understand this, but like, it just seems fake. It seems superficial with the 4070 when you turn on DLSS and you turn on ray tracing and all of that stuff. It just seems so superficial, like it's not even real. When I turn on my 7800 XT and I start playing games, like I can absolutely see a difference in the visuals. I get better visual quality out of AMD than I do out of Nvidia. When I turn on DLSS, I lose visual detail. I lose it. I get this like pristine, crisp, sharp, crispy image when I use DLSS. But that strips out some of the detail that I get with the AMD card, and I notice it. Like, I notice it. I absolutely notice it. But a lot of people aren't going to notice this, because when you turn on when you turn on DLSS and it just looks boom, sharp, crisp, and the frame rate goes up, it automatically like tricks your brain into thinking, whoa, this looks good. Or maybe you're one of them people that absolutely love that sharper look. So you're like, oh man, this looks incredible. This looks incredible. So I get it. Like, I understand why people are like, I mean, it makes sense that the visuals are going to be subjective no matter what. But the performance and everything like that, that's not subjective. Like, performance definitely matters. And when I look at these games, and I turn on like DLSS and I look at it and I instantly notice that I lose image quality. And then when you turn on frame gen, you lose even more quality. Like, it really does affect the overall image quality of the game. Like, I don't get why anybody would be like, I don't understand how people don't see this. But then again, man, if you're only using Nvidia, you're not seeing the other side, and you do have to spend a little bit of time, and you do have to look a little bit closer to understand and like actually notice, oh yeah, and go back and forth. Like, the more I go back and forth, the more I absolutely see that AMD looks better, and like all the time, like it looks better. I just got done playing Sleeping Dogs. I picked up this on Steam. I was like, dude, I got to get Sleeping Dogs, man. I saw it. I got it for like $3 or $4 or something. And I was like, man, I got to play that on the PC. I got to see. And dude, when I'm running around on this card, on this AMD card at like 165 frames a second, and it just seems, and it's like butter smooth, and I've got everything maxed out. Man, this is such a cool experience, man. Like, PC gaming is awesome. And it got more awesome for me when I bought AMD. To be completely honest with you, Nvidia is not bad. It's not like it's trash or anything. Obviously, they make good products, but at the same time, man, like, I'm kind of feeling like the 4070 would be like a super strong 1080p card. I feel like you'd be able to get your ray tracing and all of that at 1080p, but then that just defeats the purpose. Why are you paying for a 4070 class card when you're only getting a 1080p experience? Why are you paying for that? And that's the same thing with the 3080 when it first came out, and you're playing old games like like Red Dead Redemption 2, you're getting 4K and you're like, yeah, this is a 4K card. But then they start coming out with new games and then you're going from 1440p and then you're all the way down to 1080p and then you're lowering settings. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, man. Like, make it make sense, my Nvidia bros. Make it make sense. I just find it hilarious when the Nvidia bros show up and they tell me that AMD is trash and it's got bad drivers and it's like it's trash ray tracing and all of this stuff, and then they're like, yeah man, you should get like an Nvidia card. Any Nvidia card's better than any AMD card, and like you're gonna love the ray tracing. And dude, like honestly, when you turn it on, like you barely notice a difference for the performance hit that you get, unless it's like specific games. There's like a couple specific games that actually really intensify the visuals when it comes to ray tracing. And yeah, dude, it doesn't make any sense to me, my friends. Ray tracing is good technology. It's just not ready yet. It's not available enough to where a lot of people can use it and actually see benefits, because it's just a compromised experience all around for the most part, in my opinion. I've never had the opportunity to try a 4090, and to tell you the truth, like I just don't care. Like, I don't care. That card to me is an absolute ripoff. It's an absolute ripoff. It shouldn't be any more than $1,000. I don't think any graphics card should be more than $1,000, especially because of the upgrades every 2 years. I don't know, man. Like, this whole PC thing is starting to get very annoying to me, very fast with the whole with the whole tiers of graphics cards and stuff. And like, I get it. Like, I completely understand it, but I have more faith in the products that AMD puts out. When they say, hey man, this is a 1440p card, I believe them. I believe that the 7800 XT is a 4-year 1440p card. 4-year minimum. I believe that. And everything that I've played on that card has 100% reinforced that, because I don't need FSR to get 1440p on that card like I do with the Nvidia card. There are absolute games that I need DLSS just to get over 60 frames a second on that 4070. I haven't run into any of those yet on the 7800 XT, except for maybe Forspoken. I think Forspoken teeters at like 55 frames a second, and that's like the only one so far that I've actually ran into that much of a gap trying to run that game at native with max settings. I will be testing more, obviously. I've got probably 100 plus games that aren't even downloaded on my PC that I still need to test with these cards, but I'm to the point right now where I don't even want to put the Nvidia card back in the PC unless there's a brand new game that has ray tracing that needs to be tested, because the experience is just not as good. And when I get over here and I start recording the videos for you guys and they start like going to 30 frames per second or feeling like they're 10 frames a second, that's annoying, man. I spent $200 on that controller so I could review it, and I was using the Nvidia card, and it compromised my recording. It compromised my recording. And I'm using Streamlabs. I get in there, I set my bit rate, I do all of that stuff, and the Nvidia card just can't seem to do 50,000 bit rate for 4K, man. Like, it seems to not be able to work. But the AMD cards, no problem. Doesn't ruin my experience. It's not ruining my videos. It's not making everything look like it's running in slow motion or all twitchy or something. Oh gosh, Nvidia, you absolutely cannot keep ripping people off like this. This is bad. Like, it's getting ridiculous. Like, these fanboys out there for Nvidia are so it's not cool, man. Like, it's not cool. People are absolutely getting ripped off for these Nvidia GPUs that aren't gonna hold up. Like, I have zero faith that this 4070 is gonna last as a 1440p card until the next cards come out. Like, we'll find out. Man. I'll Horizon Forbidden West comes out soon. We'll be trying that one. We'll see how good the 4070 holds up. I mean, we already got Avatar beating the snot out of the 4070. I mean, it's just come on, man. Just come on. So, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching.